Are we ready to talk basketball? Not basketball. Are we ready to talk football?
Let's do it.
All right, Super Bowl's happening, and the Falcons versus the Patriots. Jazz didn't get to do his picks. We did ours already on last week's show. Jazz, who are you going with, why, and we will tell you why you're wrong if you do not pick either of our
Well, I was clearly wrong championship weekend. I was 0-2. And I normally don't like picking against the Patriots. Same reason I don't like picking against Alabama. I don't like picking against those big juggernauts.
Mm-hmm.
But much like the national championship, I am going to pick against Robert Kraft, Belichick, Brady, and that whole Pats regime. I'm going to take Atlanta to bring home their first championship in 168 combined seasons across the 4 major sports. Their first since the Braves in 95.
Jeez.
For the reasons, my reasoning, as we know what we're getting with the Atlanta offense. Number 1 scoring offense with the probable MVP, 4 straight games with 3 touchdowns, and an incredibly efficient offense. They score on their first possession in 8 straight games. They've scored a touchdown on 35% of their possessions. And I think ultimately they will prove that the Patriots defense isn't all that it's made up to be. I mean, they played one of the easiest schedules in the league, and the quarterbacks that they played, just take in this list, guys. Stop me when you feel worried or stressed. Carson Palmer, Ryan Tannehill, Brock Osweiler twice, Tyrod Taylor twice, one of those being a loss, Charlie Whitehurst, Cody Kessler, Andy Dalton, Landry Jones, Colin Kaepernick, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Jared Goff, Joe Flacco, Trevor Siemian, Bryce Petty, and Matt Moore. I don't think any of those quarterback names strike fear into the hearts of any defense.
Matt Moore can play. How about this? Matt Moore can play.
I mean, there are some names in there.
I'm joking.
Joe Flacco has had good games. They did lose to Russell Wilson, and they beat a Big Ben without Le'Veon Bell. But I think they're a really good coverage defense, and they won't be able to get after Matt Ryan, and I think he'll be able to shred them. So I'm going to go with the Falcons.
Oh, so you agree with me?
I do not agree with you. Okay, look at the home and road splits for the Falcons, and you'll notice there's a discrepancy in how they score. Not necessarily the record, but their scoring and how they score. Matt Ryan tends to struggle when he's not at home. Mm-hmm. And I think in a neutral site, a site where it's 50-50 at best, and the Patriots fans travel really well. I think this is a point that isn't really talked about. There's a reason why it's called Fan Eye Sports, and there's a reason why we shout Fan Eye Sports. The fans really do matter, especially in the game of football. And I think in a neutral site, the Patriots are better than the Falcons.
No. First of all, you can't. Yes, fans matter, but really, everyone talks about the 12th man, the 13th man in the CFL. No, fans aren't going to determine. I mean, they can provide noise, which is a distraction.
Yeah, see, this is the thing.
But it's not going to affect the outcome, really. They're both playing in a neutral field. A neutral site, and no, it's not going to be.
I think Patriot haters also travel well, so I think there'll be a good mix in that building.
That's a good point.
Honestly, I remember my football days. I remember playing football, and the one thing I hated when playing on the road, I know it's not the same as NFL. So before any comments come in, it's I can't believe he's comparing. I know it's not the same.
No, that wasn't even my.
But my point, I think I'm trying to get to is that you cannot discredit noise playing a factor in the way quarterbacks go through the progression. I hated noise on the offensive end, not because of me, but because of the way the quarterback can signal. Right. I can't hear HUT. I can't even the silent count is difficult. Noise is really important, and fans are getting smarter now to be quiet when the offense is going.
Right.
They're getting really smart with it. And I think that in a neutral site, not just because of that, I just think the Patriots are better with their home and road splits. I think Atlanta is worse with their home and road splits. I think averaging it out, the Patriots are better in a neutral site than the Falcons would be in a neutral site. If this was the Super Bowl and Atlanta has home field, then Atlanta 100%. But I think that Brady's just as good as Matt Ryan. I don't know why everyone just suddenly thinks Matt Ryan is like a god amongst men. Brady is just as good as Matt Ryan. LeGarrette Blount, I love his game. I don't know why everyone says they don't really have a top running back. LeGarrette Blount is a top running back. He just doesn't get the snaps to prove that he's a top running back. And they do it for a reason.
Right.
Offensively, they're about the same in a neutral site. And I think defensively, the Patriots are better than the Falcons. That's why I'm going to go with the Patriots.
Well, for me, I have some stats, some really stats that the average fan won't consider when looking into the Super Bowl. One interesting fact is that the Falcons receiver Mohamed Sanu has a perfect career passer rating.
5 for 5.
Yeah, 5 for 5, 158.3, and his longest pass includes, I think, a 53-yard touchdown pass. And yeah, and then also the Atlanta old linebacker Vic Beasley led the NFL in sacks this season, but was 18th among edge rushers in total pressure. The average edge rushers converts pressure into in only 15.1%, but Beasley converted his edge rushes into pressure 28.6% of the time. So again, this is somebody who he was 18th. His low number of sacks all kind of altered his overall output, but the fact that he's almost double the amount of converted pressures into the amount of edge rushing into pressure is just another level in itself, and that should give Tom Brady a lot of problems next Sunday. And also, Matt Ryan's passer rating when kept clean with no pressure is 131.1, the best mark in the NFL by over 10 points. And plus Julio Jones, just his presence alone, big deep ball threat, and what he provides. I get 180 yards last game in the NFC Championship game, 2 touchdowns, averaging 20 yards a catch. Like, again, there's just too many game-changing players on the Falcons. They have not just drive or series-changing players, but they're multi-dimensional, and they can affect any facet of the game because they're going to be the best at their position at any given time in the game. But, I mean, Tom Brady, of course, there's some good things for him as well. His sack percentage when pressured is 10.6. That's lowest in the league. And also, he was the number 2 quarterback in passer rating this season, so there are some things going for the Patriots, but overall, I think the Falcons have more in their favor.
Just to touch on the Falcons' defense, when you mentioned Vic Beasley, and I think a lot of his pressures come off pure speed. And I think much like their offense, the name of the game for the Atlanta defense is all about speed. 7 of their 11 starters are either first or second-year players. I think they have a lot of young but talented players with a ton of speed that tackle well and hit extremely hard. A-Rod even took a couple of big hits from Deion Jones and Brian Poole. This is Dan Quinn's 3rd Super Bowl in the last 4 years, his last being also against the Pats as the Seattle defensive coordinator. He wanted to stop the run against in that game, and they had 61 yards on 19 carries, which forced Brady to throw 50 times, but he was effective doing that with these quick, short throws. So it'll be interesting to see if they go man-to-man or if they stay in their cover 3 zone looks. Ricardo Allen was quoted saying they use pure zone looks on 80% of their snaps. The difference with their zone coverage versus traditional zone, much to the credit of the Seahawks and the Legion of Boom, is that they don't simply read the receiver, they read the quarterback's eyes. This leads to soft spots underneath. They call it the kill zone. It could turn into the homicide zone because Brady is the king of dink and dunk. But Atlanta relies on their closing speed and their open field tackling to make these stops. And since week 9, they've been the 11th best pass rush. Their weakness, I think, is just the run defense. So they could go to those tight packages, like you said, and just chug LeGarrette Blount right down the gut. We don't know with this offense,
I think even dunking it down to LeGarrette Blount, too, because LeGarrette Blount is an underrated pass catcher. You know, duly noted, you guys make some good points. And honestly, like, I get it. The defense has been better in the playoffs. For one game, I don't think LeGarrette Blount and the Patriot receivers, Edelman, they don't mind being hit. For one game, really, one game being in the homicide zone, as you mentioned,
right. I
don't think they care. I just think they're going to get those yards, because Brady will find them.
Right.
And LeGarrette Blount will run it down. I think they'll be good.
Well, also the Atlanta Falcons, they're 3rd overall in the power rankings. They have the 1st-ranked offense and the 12th-ranked defense. So, I mean, just to say, and again, what I said about Julio Jones, there's no one corner on the Patriots that can completely shut him down. Not even Malcolm Butler. There's not one. You can't play because zone's not going to work, because even if you're in the zone, he's still going to get the ball. You can't go man because most of their cornerbacks are inexperienced and they won't be able to. They won't have the levitation or the ability. If he jumps, they don't have that kind of elevation. They don't have that kind of vertical to jump with him. And then when you look at the zone, he's still going to exploit the zone because that just leaves holes and gaps and space. And then also, the Falcons defense is good enough. They're ranked 12th in the Pro Football Focus power rankings. So their defense is not even, it's just above middle tier. So they'll be able to disrupt a lot of what the Patriots' lethargic pedestrian offense will probably be able to employ. Apart from Brady and LeGarrette, yes, they have Edelman. They have LeGarrette Blount he's a good running back, but he's no Le'Veon Bell. He's no Ezekiel Elliott.
Right.
He's not going to be able to average 5 yards in this game, let alone a whole season. So they'll be able to do some things. Atlanta's defense will bend, but it won't break.
I don't think it bodes well for the Atlanta defense that Brady is playing such mistake-free football.
Yeah,
I mean, a 0.5% interception rate, third lowest in NFL history, and only 10.6% of his pressures are actually being turned into sacks. So his offensive line is standing up for him as well, especially that right side. I think Marcus Cannon has only had 2 sacks all year, and both of those came in week 1. So he hasn't allowed a sack since week 1. Like I said, it doesn't bode well for a defense that feeds off of turnovers. But they've had 13 in the last 7 games, the Atlanta defense, and 10 straight games with a defensive takeaway. I think they'll be able to disrupt Brady's flow more than Pittsburgh was, which isn't saying much. But every Pitt defender allowed a completion percentage of at least 66.7%. I think Atlanta will do a bit better than that. And I think...
Yeah, 66.7 is pretty high.
Yeah, right? 2/3 of the time they're completing their passes.
Yeah, you know what? Duly noted again. Duly noted. Listen, you know what? Really big wild card is they will play double coverage on Julio Jones. So the wild card is, can Taylor Gabriel show up for this game? Because he didn't show up against the Green Bay Packers. And, I mean, like, you know, we can just go to the stats here. I think he had 22 yards receiving in total. So, you know, can Taylor Gabriel show up? For the record, Taylor Gabriel's stats was against the Green Bay Packers, 2 receptions for 24 yards. It's just, he needs to show up because they will play double coverage on Julio Jones and they will slow Julio Jones down. Malcolm Butler, say what you will about Malcolm Butler. I've heard people say that he's better than Josh Norman.
Oh, really?
Legitimate, to my face,
No.
better than Josh Norman.
No.
All right? Smart, intelligent people who know the game of football have said that he's a top 5 corner in this league. Do I agree? No, but if they're that confident in him, then if they're that confident in him, then I think he will show up for this game.
Right.
I think he will prepare. And we know that he does prepare well because the last time he got a chance, as a rookie, mind you, the last time he got a chance to prepare, he jumped a route that saved the Patriots. So he will slow. It was 2 years ago, but he will slow down Julio Jones. They will slow him down. If not by himself, double coverage will do it. So now it's up to the other receivers from the Falcons.
Right.
And so I'm going to go to this question here. I mean, we've mentioned a lot of stats. We've mentioned a lot of things. Yard after the catch is a big thing. Cover 3 coverages. Simple question: Does the Falcons receivers, other than Julio Jones, have enough to support Matt Ryan in the Super Bowl here?
I think if Gabriel or Sanu draw Eric Rowe as a matchup, or even Patrick Chung as their safety help, we will see Matt Ryan take those shots. Patrick Chung is a shell of his former self. He had a huge drop in his efficiency or his playing ability over the last year, and I fully expect Matt Ryan to exploit that.
Yeah.
He's been pretty bad this year.
Pretty bad this year. Yeah,
he's been pretty bad this year. I can see that point. I'm still gonna go with the Patriots because I think that the Patriots have what it takes. But you never know. The game's on Sunday, and it's not played by stats. It's played by men on their television sets. I'm going to find whoever said that. So I've been stealing that guy or gal's line forever. And
it's not played by stats.
It's not played by stats. It's played by... I think it's played by men.
Trends.
They do dictate trends, right?
And they let you know what's liable to happen.
I will say this. Tim McAuliffe always says, and I know this line is his, stats are like Nicki Minaj. They show a lot, but they don't show everything. Or what was it? Telelatina. Whatever. Stats are like Telelatina. They show a lot, but they don't show everything. That's a great line, by the way.
Telelatina, what's that?
Telelatina. Okay, so Telelatina is what, channel 29.
Oh, that Telelatina. Okay,
yeah. And
like
every
Italian,
Friday night they had like a
Italian
Yeah, 35 and
Yeah.
Is it TLN we're shouting out?
TLN.
No, TLN is the learning. Is the,
No, TLC is the
TLC.
TLN is what we're talking about.
TLN is
Right,
Tel
right.
Latina, I think, right? Yeah, the one that plays soccer
So,
on every
yeah,
Sunday.
Syria.
They play the Serie A soccer every Sunday night. But yeah, it's like Nicki Minaj. It's like a girl in a bikini. They show a lot, but they don't show everything. So they're played by men on the television set. But honestly, I gotta find whoever said that, and then I'll get back to you guys on that one. Anyway, any other
Moving
points you want to
on.
make on the Super Bowl before we?
Josh Norman's better than Malcolm Butler.
I think so too.
That's not even. Whoever said I need to just go and bury their
Right.
head.
Right,
Somewhere.
but like someone legitimately said, a smart football guy,
Josh
has
Norman,
experience in
He
football.
had 3 interceptions this year. Wasn't
Right.
like Josh Norman, like even when he's not intercepting the ball, he's disrupting passes. He's batting the ball down. He's deflecting it. Like he's always involved, and he's not
Norman
afraid.
also has that
He's
element-
not afraid, and they throw to the opposite side of him all the time.
Right. Norman is also going to be that guy that chirps your ear off and makes
Exactly.
you
He
second-guess
wins the
yourself.
mental battle.
Right, and you know what the
Justice
thing about
Smith is-
trash talk is? Have you ever heard him on Mic'd Up? It's some of the
Yeah.
most intelligent trash
Yeah.
talk. Like usually you get the
Like
you're
NFL
trash,
films.
you're trash.
NFL
Yeah, the NFL films trash mic'd up. You get the usual you trash.
I think the
Oh,
back
this
and
guy's
forth
dookie.
with him and Dez was some of the best mic'd up that we got this year.
Right, but even Dez lit him up.
Yeah.
That's the
Oh,
thing,
yeah, he did.
right? Because Dez is say what you will about Dez Bryant and his attitude, he's still an intelligent guy. So
Not only that, he's one of the best receivers in the league.
yeah. So like Dez is this weird like combination of like you can be an intelligent, educated guy and still be a wild card.
Right.
Like people don't know how to separate the two, and Dez is one of those weird like elements. He's like a football version of House. He virtuoso, talented, but he's just such an annoying little,
But he's always there
Yeah,
to
but-
save the day.
He's always there, right? But he's always there to save the day too. Like I think that's a great analogy.